about the Ashtanga.
Is anyone missing their menu?
Sim. So let's do a recap. Just taking a moment to honor Lord the time to leave, when having the kindness to just assemble all the knowledge so we can maybe hopefully one day become an enlightened being in this lifetime to the Yoga Sutras. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We also mentioned that we don't have a record a lot about Patanjali. We just know that he was an incredible yogi, enlightened, an Ayurveda doctor, and he knew a lot about Sanskrit. That's why also the Yoga Sutras, you must have teacher to interpret because it's so much many double meanings in there. And even though it's only 197 verses and 4 chapters, quite a small book, it's so much of the deep of the knowledge that is in there that most of the scholars take a whole life to not only read it and study, but to apply what is that Patanjali trying to share with us there. And we gave importance to the second sutra. So the first one was Atta Yoga Anusana, remember? Was 1.1. Atta means now. So in the now is when we expose the state of yoga. In the now we enter yoga. And the second sutra we repeated this morning, Yogas Chitta Vitri Nirodha. Sutras are like a thread to connect one with the other, like a sweater. And they make the whole combination of many sutras is teaching us something. And that's when he defined what is yoga. He's not talking about that yoga is this or that, complicate asanas, but most likely yoga is when we apply the control of the fluctuations of the mind, so we cannot be all the time pulled like wild horses from the past to the future, from the future to the past, from the anger to the sadness, from the happiness to the stress. And we're all the time like this, right? So we are in control of our senses, of our mind. Or maybe not in control, but we start purifying that, being more self-aware of what type of vitris, what type of thoughts are actually worth to our attention or our entanglement and which are not. Like we mentioned, we don't need to be thinking 3 hours about your grocery list. Really, just go there and get some stuff. And so on, right? So we tend to overthink. But one of the most important parts of the Yoga Sutras is the Ashtanga Yoga. The Ashtanga Yoga is inside the Yoga Sutras. It's part of the Yoga Sutras, right? We said that Ash is 8 and Anga is parts, therefore Ashtanga is 8 parts to yoga, 8 parts to become in unity with the divine, with the creator. The first 2 parts of the Ashtanga are the codes of morality and control. So if you don't have ethics, if you don't have morality, you cannot call yourself a yogi or a good person. Just a little bit of common sense there. And this is part of what we said, Raja Yoga. This is Raja Yoga from the 4 paths. The 4 paths also will fall on your reading test. So we said that we have 4 ways to practice yoga. Remember a little bit? That will go on your test. You will need to write the name and what it entails to. So you can say Bhakti Yoga, yoga of love and devotion, right? Karma yoga, the yoga of service, service to others. And jnana yoga, yoga of intellect, understanding the scriptures, illuminating your mind through knowledge. And Raja yoga, which is this, is ability to get to meditation to do your asanas, pranayama, control of the mind. You know, it's like how you're going to achieve to, you know, yoga chitta vitra nirodha if you have pain on your back, pain here, pain there. Or
can we say for Raja Yoga it's Ashtanga?
As well, yes.
Meditation.
Yeah, meditation. Yeah, Raja Yoga is to control the layers of the mind and be able to become one with the divine through your body and mind. So it's like you know, you feel the divine within yourself. So it's all combined. So you will see the different darshanas. They're all kind of integrate together, because it's not just the mind or just the body, right? You gotta have a little bit of all to really get into that meditation state. But more than anything is to that, to control the ego, minimize the ego. And so the first two pillars of the Ashtanga yoga we said are yamas, and after is niyamas. The yamas is the one that we didn't finish yesterday, are all the things that we are now going to do. So the first one, we're not going to cause harm. We're going to respect the law of ahimsa, non-violence, non-harming, not hurting the earth, rivers, ocean, forests. Recycling, taking care of your garbage, less plastic, protecting our fellow animals, as much as possible. Don't hurting yourself, don't aggravating yourself with toxicity, alcohol, drugs, or not hurting yourself, pushing into strong practices or pushing your students to get this or that asana that doesn't, comes with time, not hurting anyone physically or verbally, right? So we talk about that. And then we talk about satya, that is so important to live your truth. And we're talking about the throat chakra. So it's the highest centers of energy, when we need to literally have the soul, the courage, the balls to live your truth, don't allow yourself to become a slave to a job that you hate because of money, because then you are some sort of kind of prostitute. You're selling something for money, your happiness. So be aware of that, because life is precious and has so many, it can be a garden, so many things it can be, but so many things we can do that will fulfill yourself at all levels. And speaking the truth to anyone, even when it comes to your direct family, maybe you have a difference there. We talk about sometimes, not be suppressed by you being pushed some type of religion or some type of politics that your family wants you to follow, and you don't feel that way, And so you need to find kindness and a peaceful speech and speak the truth. So it's quite an art there. But if you don't, then you're going to have unresolved energy that it can forward on, become a cancer, become a disease, and then who's going to save you there when you're in the bad hospital with something that you've been holding for 10 years that you couldn't express, right? So always speak your truth, the truth of your heart. Then we went to the spicy one, to the brahmacharya. some people does embrace that as celibacy. We're only going to embrace as moderation. And moderation in everything. It can be brahmacharya for eating. You know, we see people having kids. They are 10 years old and having tremendous amount of sugar and soda and, you know, big size meals. And what is the brahmacharya there? What is the moderation there? And they're 12 years old and they need a bra. You know, it's just abnormal. And this is again because we are in this Kali Yuga where we don't have a lot of coding for morality and ethicas and kind of a wild time, but you know, we need to remember them. And when it comes to sexual energy, is a very powerful energy. It's never a taboo because this is how you are here today. You know, through you were born from this energy. And we wanted to make everything in our life sacred. And of course, that will be also part of that. And you can, instead of having a lot of sweet, like a meditation, like a ritual with your partner, and dedicate your sexual activity to your enlightenment and of your partner together. And you will feel wonderful things. Or if you don't have partner, then you can just build that Shakti, build that energy, and conquer the world, travel the world, build your company, whatever it is that you want to do with it, because it's going to, you know, maybe decide what is appropriate for you, but it's control of the senses. You don't want to just be, you know, you look at the refrigerator and you want to have ice cream and you just go for it and you just have the whole thing. So you control your senses, is going to have a high school. So it's almost like the same with sex. We have a lot of girls, guys as well, but sometimes they come here for Reiki, chakra balancing, things like that, and you know, they're depleted. And immediately in the table we know, and we tell them, you know, maybe you shouldn't have so much intercourse with your boyfriend. And then they're like, well, I don't have a boyfriend. And they have multiple partners all the time. And guys as well, I mean, it goes both ways. You know? But then you get depleted, you know, and get contaminated with other people's energy. So, you know, just be aware that this is a very beautiful sacred practice as well. And then Asteya is the one that will continue. Asteya is for nothing. And of course, we're not going to steal any objects that don't belong to us, because yes, has a law in the universe called karma. If you steal, someone will steal from you. That's it. And maybe not now, maybe next life. Then you are here like, everyone steals from me. Or maybe you did that in your other life. Now you're going to pay your dues. So just practice content, and maybe I deserve this. And don't curse God, it has nothing to do with it, you know, maybe it's just something that you need to experience, you know, and learn from it. But we don't want to steal anything, that's common sense, of course. But then also, we don't want steal people's energy or let other people steal our energy. So Mayana has something about the timing, and you know, if you tell someone you're going to be there at 2, you gotta be there at 2 or better, 1:55. And sometimes we have meetings and they text us 2:10. Oh, I'm late. I'll be there 2:30, maybe 3. And they're stealing my time, your time. And they don't have the right to do that, because time is precious. I think to be home studying Yoga Sutras, I'm here waiting for you. You're wasting my time, you're stealing my time. So trying to be very aware of that. And of course, exceptions. We always have exceptions to everything. You know, there's an accident on the road, and there's an accident on the road, but don't make that like, you know, habit. You gotta be an example of human walking on the society, you know, and people will be learning from you. And we're trying to here always start on time, and sometimes we leave the students outside the door now, like now you just wait. And sometimes we don't let them come in. Get so upset. Sometimes they almost curse at us. Why come you half an hour late? What makes you the right to come and disturb everyone? And they just don't understand because this knowledge is not being given by maybe their close circle, their family or whatever. It's manners basically. But then we have the people that like to steal our energy, as well. So if you have those associates, those associations, friendships, they just call you to complain about life. It's like an eternal whining. For the 5th time, they tell you they had a fight with their boyfriend and what to do. And you always want to be a good person, a good friend, and maybe give good advice. Don't worry, don't overthink. Let's go to the ocean. Just swim and just let the energy dissipate, and maybe invite your partner to do yoga with us. I don't know. But goes to a moment that you need to create boundaries and say no. That's what happened with that girl, yoga teacher from New York. And she was very spiritual and nice and all that, but whatever is the reason she was always communicating in a negative, complaining manner, and that's all she wanted to do. And I said, I'm sorry, I am not available for this. And if you want, you can do something else. But you need to, have boundaries, because you will have those people, and they will deplete you, for sure. So you need to be selective, not only who you're going to have sex with, but you're going to relate and surround yourself with, right? And that's important as well. So be selective. I personally, on my 2nd week of yoga practice, I delete, let's say 80% of the phone numbers on my cell phone. Because all my friends was always about, hi, I miss my family, I'm lonely, I don't know, whatever. Oh, let's go to this club and we have a table and we get some drinks and we can talk there. And I'm like, no, we cannot talk there. It's a club. How are we going? So it was always involving some alcohol or something like that or things like that. And I just delete their numbers. I mean, I didn't have any second feelings. I mean, I'm not having any bad feelings neither. Like if I see them, what's up? How's everything? Pure love. But do I want to associate myself with personalities that are always in this type of kind of unconscious behavior? No, because then you will definitely be contaminated. So non-stealing will go both ways. Not steal energy things, or don't let people steal your energy, your time as well. And the next one is Saucha. Saucha relates to purity, and this is about...
What about
Oh, sorry. Yeah, aparigraha is about non-being greedy or non-hoarding, non-accumulation of things that we don't need. So, and Miami is a perfect example for that. I have visited homes where they have 5 bedrooms with a couple for 1 kid, with a boat, with 3 cars, and they only use the house 2 months of the year. So we have also very much, not equality. A lot of people have a lot of things, and a lot of people have almost nothing. So parigraha means not holding things that you don't use. And you have actually homework related with this. We usually ask the students to do a spring cleaning of everything that you don't use in between 6 months to 1 year. Now, for example, you need maybe 1 winter jacket because you're in Florida, super hot. You need 5 winter jackets? No. How many shoes do you need? You really need 50 shoes? How many shoes do you use? Maybe from the 50 you use 5. So if you don't use, you put it in a bag. I mean, if you need money, you can sell it on eBay, or if you have a kind kind heart, you can go to a shelter and maybe donate some of this stuff. So it's going to be like that. Everything that we are not actively using is just occupying energy in your closet, in your home, and you understand to have a more simple life. Less furniture, more carpet, pillows, less things. You know, sometimes you go to those grandma's house and you go and in the wall they have souvenirs from everywhere they've been and little ornaments and this and that. So there's a lot of accumulation of things. And we don't want to practice that. We want to practice detachment. So only have what you really use. And you know, I also been through that, you know. Back on the days I was in entertainment business, I did movies and all kinds of stuff. And I will be the kind that will, wow, this shoe is so comfortable. Give me the white, the black, and the green, you know? And then out of the sudden you have so many things, and then you don't never use them. I mean, here I'm always flip-flop. And sometimes, you know, you can have your basics, you know, one heel and for an occasion, but you don't need so much stuff. So, start cleaning your closet so we can gather these things here and bring it to the shelter. Actually, I'm going to the shelter, guess tomorrow. I have 2 bags. One of my friends, she also gave me a bunch of stuff. So, you know, if you have time to do it today, tomorrow I will go. But otherwise, you can go yourself, even feel that more empowered that you're bringing things to the shelter for those that don't have. And that's also very karma yoga, very beautiful feeling. But also relate to your things in your room, like we don't supposed to have things under the bed for a feng shui so the prana can circulate. If we have like mirrors to cover them, we don't supposed to have electronics in the room because as you're resting and gets the energy gets to, you know. You don't supposed to have things of your ex-couples, ex-boyfriends, not on your phone, not in your computer, not in your home, unless you have a child with them, you know, then of course you're entangled forever. But why will you have pictures of your ex of 2 years ago? Let go and receive, you know? So, but it's a process. This is detachment, cleaning, yeah. So that's what is a parigraha, you know, not accumulation of things that we are not really using.
Understanding also the word to covet is where you want what other people have.
Yeah, non-greedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, non-being greedy.
And not desiring it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need.
Just
Yeah.
desiring what they have, like that's theirs, and if you want it for yourself, you go get it, but not.
Yeah. Yeah, non-greed. I mean, we don't need so much stuff. If you have 50 pair of shoes, someone doesn't have shoes. If you have a house with 4 bedrooms and you don't use, someone is homeless. You know. So just use what you really need. And yeah, we don't need so much stuff. You know, we just need very minimum to be happy. The more things that we have, the more drama we have, the more stress we have. You know, you need to take care of this property, you need to fix this car. I have 3 cars, one broke, the other broke. You know, just save your money for spiritual traveling. You know, that's the best investment. You know, of course you need to have a home, you need to have a shelter, you need to have some transportation, otherwise how you get to places. But again, having that greedy of I personally know people like this. They have 10 apartments, 5 cars, and they're super stressed. They don't, you know, they can't disconnect of their material assets. So just be, you know, just be aware to not fall into that category where now you become a slave of your assets, right? And then you don't have free time. You always worry, who's going to take care of this property? Who's going to take care of this? Who's going to fix that? You know, the money is a beautiful energy to work for you, not the other way around. You know, if you have 5 properties, you just gotta manage it and let them deal with that. And then you go to India and, you know, get your income like that. But yeah, we don't wanna have, you know, I want more, I need more,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. And it's a process, you know, of the fasting of materialism, you know. And I got some gifts like leggings, yoga clothes like that, but it's like I don't buy clothes for like at least 2-3 years because first of all, I have clothes that I've been using for 5-6 years, they're still good. And then second, I think if I have already 20 pair of leggings, I love this legging, but do I need another one? 23? It's not even time enough to wear them. But that's because of yoga. Because when I was younger, I would be like, no, I love this legging. Give me 3 in each color. You know, the materialism, like it's so nice. It matches my purse with my shoes and like that. And then again, I had a student that she had like this whole room full of clothes. And she couldn't give away anything. She actually wanted to come to one of the retreats and she was going through a separation with her husband and she was looking for some, you know, income from there. And then I'm like, just sell. She had 300 pair of sunglasses.
Oh wow.
And I told her, you only can have 30. One for each day.
Right.
And sell the other ones in eBay, whatever. And then you get the money and you come to do spiritual traveling with us. And she could not do it.
Wow.
Well, that's cool.
You see what I'm saying? So for you, maybe me, you know, it's a little bit of common sense. But for some people it will not be. And you will see some people that treat assets like they're people.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like in Argentina sometimes, like Sunday, you see everyone washing their cars. For those that maybe want to sell their car and they treat their car like a person, you know, like the glitter is shining. It's just a car, you know. So be careful with that. But yeah, now we enter the niyamas. And the niyamas are the things that we are going to do when no one is watching us. So the yamas are the don't do, and the niyamas are please do. So the first one is the saucha, is the purity that I mentioned before. So this is to purify yourself from the inside and out and everything. So again, it's not just about taking a shower, but again, can you be without drinking alcohol? Can you be without, you know, using stimulants of whatever kind? And
That's how.
yeah, purity, digital, clean. But social media, also the diet again, and you know, no processed food, no canned food, no boxed food, no fried food, you know, no meat, things like that. Purity of the mind, purity of the speech. If you drink alcohol once each 3-4 days, you are low-level alcoholic, according to my teacher. That's the reality. Yeah, because you always have alcohol in your blood, always. The alcohol takes like around 3 days to cleanse of your system. So if you have a little bit of wine today, in 4 days, 3 days more wine, you're never pure. You always have alcohol in you. And that's not very yogic-like. Again, like I said, no dogma, no suppression, but leave exceptions for exceptions. I mean, if you have some Happy New Year or wedding, you know, you don't want to be completely like, oh, I don't do that. You know, be part of the energy of the room, but at the same time, this is what it is. So, you know.
Yeah. I used to pour water, so Russians are big to drinking vodka, and my ex-husband's friends, they used to drink a lot, and he would be like, just put some water in my shot. So no one would look, and then he would drink with water.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Again, it has, so hard liquor is one thing, maybe some wine, you know, alkaline, red wine, not so bad. Kombucha even has alcohol in it. Again, you guys trying to have common sense of this, you know?
Yeah.
It's like if you drink each 4 days every weekend and you want to be pure and yogic, you know, trying to live this special tantra nights, these special celebrations when, you know, like that. But that's one of the things that my teacher said. You always have some alcohol in your blood. The quality of your blood is also very much direct to your health. You know, when you have acidity on your blood is when disease emerges. So like that. But beyond the diet and what you can put into your body has other things like, you know, purity of the mind. Like if you are always in a negative mindset or complaining or just like, sad, then you need to do some purity of the mind, trying to practice more gratitude, you know, be more grateful instead going to the complaining mode that we tend to, like a tendency of the mind, you know, like, You're trying to rephrase, trying to nirodha, trying to catch, and trying to see the good even in the bad. That way you start purifying the mind. The mind becomes more with high frequency, high qualities than like just dense and heavy. And purifying the speech, you know. And I am better than 2 years ago. I grew up learning English in the street because I came in America with very little English. And I was working, my first job was at Pizza Rustica, you know, serving pizza. And I learned slang. That's how I learned English. And then all of a sudden, I'm talking like a truck driver. Literally. And I do enjoy sometimes the cursing a little bit. It's almost like a release. It's gone now. But actually, it's not very ladylike. It's not very yogic-like. So trying to purify your speech, you know. You can say whatever you want to say in a very nice manner. And that's, you know, a little bit of the yoga path, because otherwise, you know, here, yesterday I met one of my friends, and she does yoga 20 years, longer than me. Her name is Radha. And we were just talking about the gradation of yoga in Miami, you know, someone does teacher training and then they start teaching right away. Teacher training, they don't even know anything, and then the students are completely dumb as well, into some mess, and I don't know. She said, yeah, I went to this yoga teacher, and he is senior, he's older than us, and went to take his class, and she said she never came back because he cursed the entire class, in the class, talking about that. You know, like very like, I don't know, you know, I really don't know what was the intention. Like being like hip and young and what's up or something like that, but he was like literally using, you know, F word and, you know, kind of like encouraged them using cursing, you know, and that she never ever come back. This teacher is extremely popular. He has sometimes 40, 50 people in class. So you think about this, you know, like how you go to spiritual practice, you got a teacher cursing at you, and you like it. So purity will be for everything, you know. And so again, every year I get better, and I try not to curse. Although, you know, between the Italian and the Argentine side, and Italian, it's right there, you know?
Yeah.
So, it's like, it's just like, redirecting the energy and you will see, when someone has that purity energy coming in, they speak slow, they're not agitated and no stimulants and like nice. Swami Diri that is coming on Wednesday 13, that I told you that she has same energy of Mother Teresa, you will see like that type. I mean, she does mantras 5 hours a day, and she only eats very, calming vegetarian food, and she's 70. She's been doing that since she was 15. So yeah, and the next,
Maybe Santosha.
yes, thank you. That you need to make a bold there because Santosha translates to contentment, but it also can be like a gratitude. So that's also something that we want to practice. So we want to purify our body, our insides, purify our speech, purify our mind. Of course, the asanas help with sound as well. But then Santosha is that spiritual practice that, you do your prayers, thank you for one more day, whatever is the deity that you connect. It can be any deity, it can be the sun inside, it can be the angels, it can be anything. Santosha is being happy with what you have, happy with what is now, without being like, I wish that or I wish the other thing to happen. And it's very easy to practice Santosha when everything is just fine, right? You have your job, you have your girl, everything's fine, money is coming. I'm in Santosha, I'm happy, I'm content, life is good. But what happens when Shiva comes, dances around you, and now you lost your job, then your boyfriend breaks up with you, then the landlord tells you, no, you have 30 days to move, and then the hurricane is coming, all at the same time. So the Santosha needs to be happening even when chaos is happening. When the bad things hit the door, you cannot lose your faith that it is for a reason. And when we endure those hard things in our lives, is when we grow, when we develop hard skin. We become like, I can endure this, I can deal with it like a warrior. Otherwise, we become too soft, too nice. Everything's nice, great, I'm grateful. But what happens? Let's say you have a beautiful house with your family, and then here comes the hurricane. Well, that happened many times in Florida, Key West, and then the hurricane blow out your entire roof. And you lost your 50 years of savings work. So you have two choices. You can curse to God and to life and depress yourself, or you can say, thank God that we are alive and we will rebuild. And let's just find a trader and find shelter, and that's it. That's the true place to go, right? And we are in the matrix, remember? God is just watching the whole thing. We call Lilas. It's like a video game. It's like it's a test. It's a test to see how you are going to react. And if you go into that dark energy, then forget about it. You're going to reborn, and you're going to put yourself in the same situation. Instead of hurricane below your roof, now your house got burned. And you're going to go again and again in the same situations until you have a realization that, okay, something that I need to learn from this. What is it? So that is Santosha, being content even in the bad moments.
I have a question. What age, because you're a child, right? At what age do they believe that you need to start practicing?
You need that they practice times they can walk, like when they're already, let's say, I would say around 5. You know, their kids practice. They're not going to put the kid in a retreat of 3 years, but they're already doing mantras, they're doing kirtan, they're doing grace and prayers before they eat, prashadam. So slowly, you know, you start getting used to it. Yeah. You're a baby, you just don't even know what is this. But then once you're like, okay, this is spoon, this is wall, this is chair, I can walk, then you're ready to start. You know, like that. But yeah, so the practice of being grateful will bring you prosperity into your life. If you're lacking of money, then you need to be more grateful of the things that you have today, right? And that will give you a sensation of abundance. I'm grateful that I have a roof. I'm grateful that I have food. If you think about it, and I come from South America and also in India, last retreat we did in Marrakesh, in Morocco, we saw kids that were 10 years old, 12 years old, walking 5 miles to go to school, sometimes coming back with a huge bucket of water, crossing the desert. Those kids were so happy, full of, you know, you can see happiness pulling out of their eyes. And here we have rain for 3 days and we start complaining. You know, we don't find our favorite vegan cheese or whatever and we complain. It's ridiculous. So we just need to put things in balance. Some people don't have anything. And even though having anything, they are grateful. They're not complaining. So, you know, again, this is something about modern life that we just, you know, lose perspective of what is real and how much effort it takes to have clothes, to have food, to have a roof. And yeah, so always be happy with what you have, because it, you know, even though you are in charge of your destiny, is also a divine plan that is in play for your own evolution, you know. So if you got someone breaking your heart, it's for a reason. If you got robbed, it's for a reason. And has something behind that you got experience to make yourself more strong. And don't allow yourself to lose the sight of being grateful, being in grace, being in santosha. You know, thank you for this moment. I'm learning so much of it, right? It's literally like that. And then you will get blessings and you will get good karma points in your path. The next one is the tapas, or austerity, or kind of sacrifice. Tapas means to put heat on. So it needs to be something that requires an effort. That's what I told you yesterday. If you watch that movie, the Naga, where you see all these yogis coming to Kumbh Mela and showing their abilities, you're going to see a lot of these tapas. I had a man that he was with his arm up, like this, and making the chapatis with children around, and then you cannot help it, you know, like, what is that arm doing there, you know? And then he will say, this is tapas, this is my tapas here, this is tapas. Tapas for you, tapas for me, tapas for everyone. So he had his arm like this, up for 1 year, because that's his sacrifice. Tapas. Yeah. I guess when he sleeps, he will rest maybe. But it kind of got some type of atrophy, I would believe, where it will, you know, crumb up those muscles. But he was happy. And he was like, this is my tapas, this is my sacrifice. Then we also saw in Rishikesh a woman that was doing 3 poles inside the river. And the Ganges there has a little bit of current, so I don't know how she was doing. She was in the
I've been in that Ganga, it's
yeah,
Oh.
it's big, yeah. I did rafting there too. But yeah, she was doing 3 poles inside the river, inside the Ganges. And they told me she was there for 3 months. 3 months. I believe that, I guess she will being fed and maybe she will switch legs. I'm not sure, but I did saw her doing that. So tapas, something that takes an effort. Your tapas right now is the sadhana. It's you every day, you know, when we practice here, we practice here. When we don't practice here, you know, you are gonna go home and do your sadhana. Your
Push your limits, right? In some sense?
yeah, yes and no. Because remember we said that sadhana can be even studying, or it can be your prayers and the moment of meditation. So it's your daily spiritual practice. That is what sadhana is, your daily spiritual practice. And even we're doing some asanas here, nothing stopping that later on at night you can do some of the philosophy reading. Today we did 108 Ganesha mantra. That was quite quick. You know, you can do 108 mantra, maybe just Om. And that can be part of your sadhana. Something that, you know, okay, I gotta do this, right? So, yeah, if you can do all together, that would be even better. You know, you do your asanas, then you do your pranayama, then you do your prayers, then you do meditation, and it's great. I have seen also some women in India, they, you know, wearing their saris, they were just lay down on the floor like stick, and they will roll around the temple like this. They will roll around Shiva's temple. They were Shiva's devotees, and after some time, they were bleeding. So I don't think the divine wants you to bleed for you. You know, I think that is fanatism as well. And yeah, just find something that requires an effort and is an offering for your spiritual development. You know, again, the practice is enough. In Brazil, we had a big church near, and we had like something, we go on horses for like 24 hours to this church, and it was a huge church. And then I saw people, they had a lot of stairs, and they will put corn on the ladder, and they will go on their knees. Now, that's also mutilation, you know what I mean?
understand.
You go climbing the stairs on your knees with corn. Yeah. So, yeah. So I don't think that anything that is going to violate yourself is something that, you know, we should be practicing. But I have seen those that you're like, wow, that's too much, you know. And in that video, you even have these guys that they are tying rocks into their testicles as a tapas.
Oh, no.
And they have huge rocks from their lingam, yeah. And they say this is tapas. You know, there were shivayas, you know.
I've seen that.
Yeah. So again, you don't need to go into that realm. But what can be tapas? Look, another tapas that you also want to experience. We talk about being celibate. That can be a tapas, especially here in Miami Beach. Everyone naked, everyone sexy, and you were like, no. Actually, I had someone that told me that one time. You know, I was attracted to this yogi, and you know, so much knowledge. I was like, wow, awesome. And then I decided, say, you know, I really like you. You know, I told this guy, and he told me right away, oh, that's so nice, but I'm practicing brahmacharya. You know, boom, like, look. You did, because leave the guy alone. You know, yeah, just be nice. So, but that can be an effort, right? Not having sexual activity, has your spiritual practice, right? Another one is fasting. Fasting. Usually in our religions we have days that we fast, has a spiritual purposes. For example, the Hare Krishnas do Ekadashi with the turn of the moon. That we don't have grains or wheat or things like that. You can have like fruits and vegetables maybe. Or sometimes people fast 24 hours with water, or 24 hours with some, watery fruit like juice. Well, has many kinds of fasting. Well, we don't want to get into it. But again, it's something that is an effort for you. Okay, I really want to eat, but I'm not, because I'm fasting for this spiritual practice. For this birthday of Shiva, birthday of Buddha, birthday of Jesus, birthday of a special date, an avatar came to earth or something. So that can be tapas, you see, so you don't need to lead, but something that requires an effort. It cannot be easy because then it's not sacrifice, there's no heat on it. So if you commit with practicing every day, that is beautiful tapas right there. The next one is Svadhyaya. Say it. Svadhyaya. Svadhyaya is study of scriptures. Study of scriptures. And we're going to promote the oldest scriptures like the Vedas, Upanishads, Yoga Sutras, Bhagavad Gita. You can even put the Bible in there if you like so. That's also words of God. But, anything that is enlightened for the intellect, just be careful with new authors. I mean, Eckhart Tolle is really an exception because you can see that he understood the same concepts that Patanjali is talking about. But, even the Bible, you have the New Testament, the Old Testament, and this version and that version is so much manipulated, so be careful studying something that is not pristine or not authentic. But again, I am not the great scholar, although I am studying to be an Ayurveda doctor, and it's a lot of studying. What I'm trying to say is like some people can read a book in 1 month, and that's great, but if you're not that type of mind, you can still read 1 page a day, right? Like a little bit every day, some type of intellectual food. And that ignorance is one of the most important obstacles for enlightenment. Of course, you need to have open heart and forgive everyone and feel that unconditional love, but you also need to have understanding of what is real and what is not real to enlighten yourself. And the only way that we're going to get enlightened is through the books and through the teachers that explains the books. That's it. No Facebook, no YouTube, but the books. And then we have Ishvara Pranidhana. Ishvara Pranidhana. So Ishvara is one of the names of Brahma, is one of the names of the Creator, or is one of the names of God. God has thousands and thousands of names and expressions, and again, just one of the names. And this means to surrender to the divine, or surrender to God, or in other words, go with the divine flow, right? And let me tell you, it's much easier that way when you surrender to God's will. I like speed, and I bought a motorcycle a couple years ago, and yeah, it's like I'm all excited with my new toy, right? And so anyhow, it lasted me 24 hours. I bought this big change to lock the motorcycle, and I forgot to lock the motorcycle. I forgot to lock the lock. And then clearly someone just grabbed the motorcycle and stole it, right? And it was 24 hours, and I was about to lose my santosha very quickly. And then one of my friends say something and just hit me, and I didn't sorrow at all. And he said, well, maybe God removed the motorcycle for your own good. And that's like, thank you for that. You're probably right. And that's how I took it. So I'm like, makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. And then I just after that,
And I mean, when one really believes that, it's really true for you, but it's almost like, regardless of whether you believe it or not, it's still going to serve you more to think that
Right.
than to be mad.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of relax more,
Yeah.
And it happens so many times especially when I was traveling to India. Of course, we have a little bit of our kind of plan of where to travel, but I was following one guru to get initiation, and he was, I will get to Jagannath Puri, and I will get there, and they will tell me, oh, he just left. He went to Rishikesh. So I will cross the whole country to Rishikesh. You just missed him. He went to, Bangalore. And I'm like, no way. And it was 3 months like this. I swear. And so, in the midst of travels, we had situations where okay, where we're going to do, one time we were going to this town and it was midnight, and we didn't have any reservations or anything, and it was pitch black, midnight, already late. And I started telling my friend, what are we going to do? We're going to sleep on the bushes, on the forest. Who's going to open a hotel at midnight in the middle of the village in India? Okay, it's not a big deal. We can sleep on the forest, and what can happen, But I was already mumbling all this, what are we going to do? And so, one Muslim guy heard us. He speak English, and he understood the whole conversation. So when we got off the bus, he's like, hey, I heard you guys don't have where to sleep, so don't worry, you can come to my house. So we're like, oh, really? Thank you so much. And so he gave us shelter, he gave us the best room, and the next day when we woke up, his wife served us tea and something. It was almost like 1 o'clock, like that's definitely late, right, in India. And she served us really nice. And the next day, we have the whole family there, like 20 people, like 3 grandmas, 4 sisters, all the kids. I remember I had a baby goat and a baby in my arms. I have pictures. And so my friend gave them Guns N' Roses t-shirt, and they gave us. And for me it was such a open mind because outside they're all covered. You can even see how beautiful the women are. You can only see their eyes. But inside the house, they are not covered, and they're super friendly and super nice. And it's a little bit about that. Like just allow yourself to let God guide you a little bit. Because definitely we're not in control. And when you think that you are in control, is when you definitely are not in control. So you try to allow to have that humility to say, okay, give me some signs, show me the way, and then you will have opportunities knocking your door. You will start meeting the right people. You were thinking about creating a non-profit to help recover people with addiction or sex violence or jail, whatever, and then you meet the right person that's going to help you to accomplish that. So that is what is called Ishvara Pranidhana. You just surrender that, okay, divine beings, help me out here, give me some sign, give me some support, where should I go? And then with that kind of humility, and you will be guided. It's very magical, and it's very beautiful, and it's very easy going. It's stress-free. Let me put it that way. Like when the COVID hit, I was like, so many people closing business and like this, and it was crazy times in the world. I was a little bit stressed more than anything about every time that I would watch the conspiracy stuff and have so much dark things happening. Really.
Yeah.
But I was like, if I need to keep this school open, it's because you want. If you want me to close this school, it's because you want. If I'm supposed to be in Miami, it's because you want. If you want me to move back to Brazil, it's because you want. Just let me know. It's just no stress. It's not like that really like I want this to happen. It's just like whatever needs to happen is going to somehow, be available for you. Of course, that you need to put an effort. I never give up on the school. I'm not like, okay, I give up. Yeah, you take care. You manage the money now. I'm still operating, but I neither think that I am the one doing. I think that God is working through me. That is the mentality that we need to have. I am the instrument of the divine light, and you use me. And you just let me know where should I go now. And it's stress-free. You just don't worry so much because you're taken care of, And it really works like that, miraculously speaking. So it's a very easy state of mind. Everything is going to be okay because you are connected and you're doing your sadhana and you should not worry, And it's easy. And those are the yamas and niyamas. So again, those you need to memorize. In the task you need to write what are the 5 yamas. No harm, no lie, no stealing, control of your energy, and then the niyamas, you're going to purify yourself, you're going to be grateful every day, you're going to put an effort and a sacrifice to your spiritual development, you're going to study, that's the oldest advice in the world, and you're going to surrender to the divine flow. Don't be so clean that things need to be a certain way and must happen in this timely manner. Because sometimes you want something and God will bring it to you 3 years later, 4 years, that maybe you weren't ready right now for that. And things move in divine timing, and so like that. And then after that we have asana. So we're supposed to be a good person with good ethics, then you do yoga. Not that you come from a space club and then you come to do yoga. Right? You're supposed to be already practicing purity, practicing a little bit of the spirituality, then come and practice hatha yoga. Remember the asanas? The only goal of asana is to be able to sit in peace, to be without disease, to be without suffering, without pain. Because if you are not able to sit still and tranquil, you will not be able to meditate on who am I, or be able to connect with your inner self like that, because you will be agitated. More advanced than asanas is pranayama. Pranayama relates to breathing exercises. Prana is life force. That is a question on your test. What is prana? Prana is the vital force of the universe. You can say it like that. Not just oxygen, but the energy of the universe. And ayama means expansion or control. So pranayama is expansion of your vital force. That's why these yogis can't be buried alive, because they got pranayama to perfection. So pranayama, we're only doing a little bit right now. We we did Ujjayi, we did Shitali the other day, we did alternate nostril, Nadi Solani, but I will start introducing more and more. But that's more advanced than postures. So, don't be so stuck on, I need to do this perfect. You do some asanas to get strong and to get more flexible, but then sitting and doing breathing exercise will be more advanced in this path. Because what controls the mind is the prana. If you have a lot of wind, if you have a hurricane inside the mind will be agitated, your eyes are all crazy. But if you have serenity, like a lake without ripples, then your mind will be more apt for meditation, right? Then after pranayama, you have pratyahara. Pratyahara involves the withdrawal of your senses. Withdraw like a turtle goes inside her house. So that means that you're going to control your tongue, control what you eat. You just don't eat anything. You read the labels. If you have 7 things that you don't even can pronounce, you shouldn't be eating that. That has poison. Don't eat it because you practice saucha. You learn to say to your friends, I can socialize with you without drinking alcohol. No, thank you. Not today. You don't need to explain everything. Not today. That's it. Control of the senses. Then we have 5 senses. So control touch, the skin, control what we hear. That's one of the reasons that for me it's really hard to go out. The moment that I hear those heavy lyrics about sucking, fucking, and killing, I retrieve myself. I just hear Gayatri mantras all day long, and then out of the sudden I have, whatever. I love all music. I was a dancer before, but honestly, some of the hip hop is heavenly charged with lust, and that's a capital sin, in a way. Fuck this, fuck that, kill that. And also that can brainwash you in a way. Especially if you're not pressing attention, that words are entering there, and
I'm distraction.
So trying to be mindful of what type of sounds come into your senses. The same with the smell. I don't go to bars. I'm not a drinker. I don't like personally to drink. I get too sleepy. But neither, you go to a bar and just the smell of cigarettes. Do we want to be around that? And I also have many boyfriends apparently, but I had one a long time ago, and we were dating for I don't know, a couple of weeks. We were getting to know each other, and he told me he smoked sometimes, and then he wasn't smoking. I said, no, I cannot go out with you, smoke. But what? We're family guy, really good guy, smart, kind, and I'm like, I just cannot. I'm sorry, So, who will, you will be not inviting that,
Yeah, you're gonna be agitated.
Exactly. That because smoking is also low-level suicidal, if you think about it, because you're putting something that can kill you on the long term. So you slowly poison yourself. Why you would want to go with someone that want to kill themselves? Low level, but yeah, that's true. And so you control your senses, withdraw, but this is all organic. You don't need to make it happen. Naturally, when you start practicing every day, you will naturally not be attracted to be in an environment of alcohol and cigarettes. Be in an environment where it has violence in the sound. You just, very peacefully, you just retrieve, like a turtle goes inside her home. And you just start choose more environments that doesn't have that, you know, like that. So, and basically all your senses are start going towards yoga. Like you just wanna, you know, have sattvic organic foods. You wanna hear enlightened sounds with high frequencies. You wanna surround yourself with people that have wisdom, that can share something enlightened to you. So this is high levels of Ashtanga. You slowly start drifting naturally to that. You basically start changing a little bit, you know, your life. You know, you're no longer attracted to those things that are not going to enhance your higher self. Finally, after Pratyahara, now your senses are more in control, you know, you're not like a wild horse. Then Dharana comes. And Dharana is concentration. Concentration is necessary for meditation. So that's first level of meditation. So you can focus. You can focus on your practice. Every day you practice. Either it is martial arts, yoga, meditation. Every day you have that time of sadhana where you develop yourself physically, spiritually, right? No one can take you out of the path. No one can take you out of the path. That was another breakup as well. Yeah. Yeah. That was in my first months of yoga. I have very handsome, beautiful boyfriend, and he loved me, wanted to marry me. And then he wanted to introduce me his brother. He was coming from California. So I said, wonderful, I would love to meet your family. So then we go for dinner. And then he said to me, no, now we go to the club after dinner. And I'm like, I'm not going to the club because tomorrow I practice Jivamukti Yoga, the Kirtan, Prashadam to my teacher, and I gotta go and do this. Now, how come? I'm not going with my brother. Yeah, we'll have dinner. And then you guys go have fun. No problem. I will see you in the morning. And he got so mad, and then I broke up very quickly. Because no one should interfere on your spiritual path.
Yeah.
If you have someone that say, well, you know, and I also went through that with my family. No, I don't see my family that often, so when I go there, they want all my attention. And then they couldn't understand, why do you need to practice every day? I'm like, why not? You know? And yeah, they miss me and they want to share their presence with me. But we went through a phase that I needed to explain. This is part of my life. And you need to accept me. You need to accept that I need to practice. And I will watch the soap opera with you later. And I will go do grocery market with you later. But you need to understand that I need some time for my sadhana. After I will be yours. But so no one should be, you know, pulling out of your practice. Not your best friend, or your husband, or your daughter, or your kid. No one, not your boss, because now you have dharana. You are focused on the past, you know? And also you can focus the mind. You can focus the mind on the fire. You can focus the mind on the sun. You can start narrow down the attention and come into the next, which is dhyana, which is meditation. You are able to sit. Now you can concentrate the mind in the sun set, and the mind is not thinking about the future. The mind is not thinking about the past. The mind is not thinking about the past, the boyfriend, the mortgage. The mind is just one with the sun. That is dharana. That is the concentration. After that, dhyana comes. You start meditating. And it's all, again, very organic. It's not like, make it work. The only thing that makes it work is the practice every day. Then those steps of the Ashtanga, the Anga steps, they come into your life. They just come naturally, no? And then you just be there. You just zen out with sound of the ocean, watching the sunset, maybe just with the sound of the mantra, you know, that Gandhana Pataya Namaha, whatever mantra has thousands of mantras. You just become one with the object of meditation. And then eventually you will not even have object of meditation. You will just merge with the void, with the nothing or with the all. You know, just, which is some, yeah, nirvana, samadhi comes after meditation. Then is that super consciousness state when you just don't have more duality. That is a non-duality. You and the Creator are united. You and the Son are one. You and God are in communion. And that is enlightenment. That is called samadhi. And so you see, those are the 8 steps towards enlightenment. That is called Ashtanga Yoga. Not to be confused with Ashtanga Vinyasa, which is Ashtanga Vinyasa are 5 series of asanas created by Patabhijayas on the 1900s. They cannot be changed. You can never modify the practice. You always need to follow. If you cannot do an asana, you cannot continue. That is called Ashtanga Vinyasa from Patabhijayas. This is Ashtanga Yoga from Patanjali, reading between 300 to 100 before Christ. Okay? That question also will go on your test. Because we have Ashtanga Vinyasa practitioners. They are wonderful practitioners, but they still eat meat, they still drink alcohol, and they don't practice celibacy at all. The other way around. They have, they have so much power of their beautiful practice. They, sleep around, and we call, it's another thing, but that happens. And so we want to, Patabhijayas, that is the creator of Ashtanga Vinyasa, he will follow Ashtanga Yoga. He will follow. He was vegetarian, he was married, as much as possible, but actually they also find out that he was also apparently touching some other students inappropriately. So even though you see you can have an incredible asana practice with the Ashtanga Vinyasa is meant for you to be super strong and have very hardcore practice. But Ashtanga Yoga is this, the 8 steps. So you can have a wonderful practice and not have ethics. But the ideal is to, of course, have a wonderful practice and have ethics. So when someone says, I practice Ashtanga, you mean Ashtanga Yoga or Ashtanga Vinyasa? I practice, maybe they didn't even know. I practice Ashtanga Yoga. Oh yeah? What are the yamas and niyamas? They better know. Right? Those are codes of control and morality. Okay, so tomorrow we'll try to finish a little bit of the philosophy. This is really deep, so tomorrow we'll do the vinyasa for injuries instead of practicing everything like we've been doing. So I can maybe catch into this focus. Let's do a mantra to close. Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Namaste.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have you ever watched this on Prime Healing?
A what?
Healing?